costs, some of us are sitting here maybe thinking like, I've got a problem, and don't tell me I can't walk out here and get rid of sugar that easily because I'm craving it. So first thing I want you to do is I want you to take the time for one day and write down everything you're eating. And just go through your day, just write it down and try to do, I mean, that probably took me 5 minutes to do, so it might take you 15 minutes to do, to kind of like look around, find the grams. There's tons of like calorieking.com that you can find the nutrition facts to everything. Just put in, you know, wrap a nutrition label in your browser and the stuff will pop up. Find out how much sugar you are taking in. If you're here for other people, find out how much sugar you're putting into their body too. And get that awareness and go through and figure out what's added sugar. So what's the rule? The added sugars are two things. If it's in a box, odds are it has added sugar, right? If it's in any type of package. But this is my gray line of where I say, also, it's hard to say, I could read the nutrition label of an apple because it has one, type it up in Calorie King. That's not added sugar, that's natural occurring sugar. If I look and I have to read, in addition to reading this label here, I always tell people, they'll send me sometimes snapshots of this, and like, no, I want to see the ingredients too, because this makes a difference. Because if I look at this, there's no sugar here, okay? There's no sugar added, but there is on the other one, on this one. So good, better, best, what am I gonna do? You know, I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna put some fruit into it. It may not taste the same. My taste buds are going to have to adapt, but I have to give myself time to do it, right? Or if I wanna go good, better, best, and we're gonna talk about this, what I've done to transition, for a while I didn't even have yogurt, but if I have a little bit now, I can eat it plain, but it took time. Before I ate it plain, I might have added like just a drop of honey in it, and then put some fruit in it, you know. And then now you can have plain and just some fruit, and you enjoy the taste. But it's a transition, so allow yourself that time to transition into it and adapt. So, how do we kick this habit? And this is why we say go to fruit, go to natural foods that has fiber, right? Almonds, nuts, and stuff like that. They have fiber. They're going to help slow down the processing of the sugar in your body. Do you know, I thought this was funny, that Americans used to almost consume, back before processed food, I don't know where they get this number from, so sometimes I wonder, like, how did we know what they did long ago, right? But 100 to 300 grams of fiber. Does that sound crazy? It sounds a little crazy, so I'm not sure how true it is, but I'm sure they consumed a lot more fiber than we do because everything was natural, right? Where now, it's like we're pushing the envelope to get 10 grams of fiber. When we look back at that list, I mean, how many grams of fiber is in that day? 13. 13.7 grams, okay? We can do a little better than that. For women, we want to aim, for adults, 25 grams. For men, we want to go towards 38 grams. Kind of play around with those numbers and see what works best for you. Yeah, I guess we and that's going to help a lot, so fiber. Hydration. I know, are you sick of me telling you, drink water? Everybody leaves class saying, like, drink more water, hydrate, you know. I think, did I say that to you this morning? It's like, hydrate. It's a cure-all for everything. It really is. If you're not drinking your water, take your body weight. I say this all the time. Here's your starting point. You're going to figure out if you need more or less. Take your body weight in pounds, right? Divide it in half. That's how many ounces of water I want you to drink tomorrow. In this heat, I find myself having to drink 75 ounces of water. And I mean, that being said, I'm on my feet all day, so it might be different if you're sitting at your desk all day. But if you're not getting enough water, your body cannot process everything that's going into it, okay? So try eating a lot of fiber with not enough water. We know what happens, right? So we need to do it together. Protein. Whatever source of protein you get, a little bit throughout the day. It's going to help, again, regulate your blood sugar, okay? Did you have a little bit of protein in your breakfast? Have it at lunch? Did you have some in dinner? Yin and yang. Here's a nice, fun little handout. And I love this, it kind of gives us a visual. This reminds me of when people talk about alkaline food and acidic food, we want to try to find a balance of the pH in our body. These foods are more yang, these are more yin. We want to find balance. If we look, it's less yang, less yin. I always like to draw a line like halfway through. And if we look to where like, hey, there's leafy greens, there's my root vegetables, my beans, my sea vegetables, whole grains, fish, poultry, cheese. I mean, and you could choose to have or not have some of them. But here's, you know, my nuts and my seeds from here down, right? Have more of. They're gonna kind of keep us balanced and help us stop us from going to extremes. We start to come up here, hey, there's what we were talking about before, those alcohol and sugar, coffee, honey and spices, although natural, has health benefits if in the proper form, it's still processing as an added sugar in our body. Dairy, right? Soft, eggs, they're gonna cause extremes. So if you're eating from up here all the time, you're gonna be, you know, your body's gonna be kind of fighting all over the place. So I thought it was just something fun to kind of a visual to keep it all in mind.
So everything on that chart, on the top of that chart, on both columns, throws your body into more of a swing either way.
Yes.
So things that are on the lower half of that
Exactly.
just kind of keep it.
Yes, and if you think, if we directly say like high in salts or eggs, red meat, it's gonna kind of slow us down. And then we have, and a lot of us fight between the two, right? So yeah, I just had a nice steak for dinner. I gotta wake up and get myself some coffee, some sugar to kind of get myself going, right? You ever feel sluggish after a nice big, good piece of steak, you know? And you wake up and you're like, ugh. So it's like we keep flipping back and forth to kind of keep that balance. But if we really focus on the bottom half, we're gonna kind of stay a little more stable throughout the day. Primary food, if you were here last month, we talked about a little circle of life, right? So primary food, I say secondary food is what we put in our bodies, primary food is our life. And last month we gave a little wheel, and it was like all different pieces of the pie of our life, our spiritual aspect, our fitness, our relationships, our career, money, and we all kind of rated how we felt on that pile, like how we felt, and we kind of draw the circles, how balanced is that circle? Nobody really has a completely balanced circle, right? But you can see those divots of where in your life something was kind of off balance. What causes that emotional eating, often sugar cravings, things like that. So being mindful of why you're having these. I like to joke and say, I eat when I'm bored, I eat when I'm happy, I eat when I'm sad, you know, it's like, but mostly I find, for me, it's that boredom, those stagnant moments. I found becoming a mom, it was like that plop on the couch, and it's like you feel like you gotta reward yourself with something, like, yeah, I made it. Why are you rewarding yourself with food? You know, think about that. What else can you reward yourself with that's gonna enhance your life, right? Whole foods, not Whole Foods, the store. Whole, complete foods. So the less prepackaged, everything up here is packaged. I'm not gonna show you how many grams of sugar are in a banana compared to an apple, or in carrots compared to a squash. You know, because I want you to eat those foods. When it comes to whole foods, I do want you to be mindful of your vegetables should be high, and then your fruits. So if you're looking at your daily food intake, because this could also trigger the sugar a little bit, if your fruit is high and then your veggies are down there, you kind of want to work on swinging the veggies up, right? And I noticed that even with my kids, it's easy to get them to eat fruit, and I'm not going to fight that process because I want them to learn how to eat nutrients. And it's easy even for us, right? We're going out the door. What are my big recommendations? Grab an apple. I want you to still grab that. But be mindful when you're sitting down and eating, are you including vegetables in that, right? Your vegetables want to be high. This is where I give my example. The 6 cups of spinach, when we think carbohydrates, right? Nobody ever thinks of spinach as a carbohydrate. It's a carbohydrate. 6 cups of spinach is equal in grams of carbs to half an apple. Right? 6 cups of spinach. I'm not saying you have to eat 6 cups, but let's think about it. 1 whole pepper and half an apple. So we have to eat a lot more vegetables. And the daily recommendations, I kind of cringe when I see them because they're so low. When you look at a daily serving size, you flip over a package of lettuce and you're like, have like 6 leaves, and it's like 15 calories, and you think you've had your serving of vegetables. Think a little bit more about that. I want you to have a little more, okay? And that will help replace those cravings. It'll help balance you out because it's giving you your vitamins and minerals that are causing you off kilter, or that sugar that has depleted you from it, like as working on pulling that calcium and stuff from your body. Those vegetables, the nuts, the seeds, the natural foods are going to help feed your body. Think micronutrients. What nutrients is this food providing me? Next time you sit down at a meal, right? This, debatable, not really, so I'm not going to go there. What nutrients is this providing me? That's not added to it besides what's in the oats, Think about it.
Is it easy to tell on a box like the Cascadian Farms, because I know I've used that stuff before, what's naturally occurring and what's added?
Not, well, yes and no. If you read the ingredients, let's see. Most is actually naturally occurring except for vitamin E. If you see on the label down here, if you see it'll say vitamin E or it'll say that it has an added mineral. Sometimes it's tricky because they'll put the fancy mineral name and you're like, I have no, like that means magnesium, like they'll add that. So sometimes it's easy, like vitamin E, I could look up here and say that vitamin E was added and they don't even have it listed here. So it's obviously more of a preservative. But odds are most of this is coming from the oats in it. So usually you can, but if there's a lot going on in the ingredients, an organic brand is probably going to be food-based.
Mm-hmm.
It is going to be food-based, but if it's not a non-organic brand, it's kind of safe to assume it's going to be more synthetic and processed and cheap and easy.
What about the protein bars? I sometimes buy, they say one gram sugar, and then I see alcohol is 16 grams. What's
Yeah.
the alcohol?
It's another form of sugar.
It's just, yeah, one
Sugar,
gram
sugar.
and
Yeah, it's just a different form. And it's, protein bars are kind of tricky. They're good and bad. There's certain kinds that are good, quick on the go. It's like a better than option, better than, I always say, I have certain brands that I get that I'll grab a protein bar if I know we're going on a long road trip rather than us stopping at, you pull the rest stop and you don't know what you're gonna get. Sometimes we mindlessly go through like a kangaroo and find nuts and seeds and try to piece something together. But that's when I try to save bars like that. So I would not have it as a staple.
Yeah.
I would have it as like a go-to, I'm doing errands all day, this is what I have to bring with me. Read and go beyond, and that's what everybody does to me is they show me this part of their bar and I'm like, that can look great. Oftentimes they're high in sugar, low in fiber, or they jack up the fiber. They will kind of increase that in some of them. Or if they're low in sugar, my flag goes up because it probably has artificial sweeteners in it. So it's kind of a little game.
Don't they jack up the fiber bake?
Yes, yes, and your body will process natural fibers a little better. So whole foods, feed them, right? Give them to your body. Little to no processed food. And this is where we say, how do we start this process? Little to no processed food. It's a journey, so you have to take that sample day that you gave yourself, how much is coming from a package, pick one meal, like I would say just pick one item, something that's regularly occurring in your daily day that's prepackaged, and work on finding a good substitute for it. Once you've mastered that and you're satisfied, pick another one and work on finding another substitute for it. Don't say I gotta, it's all gone, it's all out because we last for 3 days and then we do what? We go back to old habits, right? We've all been there. It's like back and forth. Baby steps. Action steps. We've already kind of talked about it, but let's begin a food journal. Simple, easy for yourself. Don't go crazy. You don't need to know how many cups of spinach you ate, how many, servings of this, don't count the almonds. But what time did you eat? What did you eat? How did you feel before and after? Were you hungry? Were you cranky? How did you feel afterwards? So you know before and after how you felt. Did you feel stuffed? You overate, or something's not digesting properly for you, right? And then say 3 hours later, you're going for your next meal, you're starving. Look back at that other meal. If you didn't last that long, maybe you didn't eat enough. but maybe that wasn't the right combination of food or the right food. So start a simple food journal. Keep it easy. If you miss a day, you miss a day. You know, don't make it a stressful day. Hydration, we talked about this, right? Track your hydration, because most people are like, I'm drinking my water. And then they come in with these little bottles, and I'm like, how many of those did you drink today? And you don't know, we forget, we're trying to do this calculation. Track it for a little bit, pay attention to it. Write down your intention or your why. This is key, and this is what a lot of people avoid to do. When we see the stats of people that start diets and then fall off track, a lot of it is because what our intention is or our why, and I don't want to say it's superficial, but it's what we think it should be. Like, I have to lose 5 pounds because I have to lose 5 pounds. No. Why do you want to lose it? What does that mean to you? What is your intention in doing this? Is it for your health? Is it for you to feel better? And write it down and read it daily. My new trick is to tell people we're carrying our phones around all day. Put it down. Set your alarm to go off once a day so you glance at it, because I know you're going to look at your phone, right? And read it to yourself. Get it in there. Why am I doing this? Eat whole foods. And I kind of put this in order of how I like to recommend it. Unlimited veggies. Complement the veggies with protein. Nuts and seeds. And then complement it with fruit, right? In the beginning, if we're trying to kick the sugar habit, our fruit might be higher. Let it be higher. And work on that later. Okay, like I said, I'm never going to tell you not to eat the fruit. Eat every 2 to 4 hours. If sugar is a problem, you're going to have a problem if you go longer than 2 to 4 hours. I know this is where I start to you walk in the house and if you're opening the cabinets, there is nothing here. You want to drive to the store and get something quick and fast and whatever's going to satisfy it. Don't allow yourself to go more than 4 hours. The bigger your meal, the more balanced your meal. You'll learn what meals help you go longer and less if you write it down and track it. And this is different for everybody. I have people that need 1 egg, a half an apple, and they're good for 4 hours, I would be starving and ready to cut someone's head off. But then you have other people that need a nice big 3-egg veggie omelet with a slice of toast next to it. And they're good for 3 hours, so you have to find what's gonna work for you. My free meals per week. I highly recommend you give yourself a break. It's not all or nothing. We go on these diets and we just, we're like, I'm going to do this. And then, we get through a week. Sometimes we get through 3 days is the biggest common, I think, thing. And then we crash or we give in one night because we went out with friends and we had that glass of wine where they ordered dessert and you took 2 bites and you're like, that's it. I can't do it. I'm done. Doesn't make sense, right? Or you step on the scale and you're not seeing what you want, so you throw in the towel. You're like, that's it. Think about it for your health aspect, but also give yourself a break. If you're new to the journey of getting rid of sugar, give yourself 3 free meals a day. Not binge fast, 3 free meals a day. Just go out to dinner, order what you want. A week, I'm sorry. Thank you. Everybody's like, yes. Got this, thank you. A week. Give yourself a break, But if you're a little further along in the journey, go down to 2. And then if you're a little further along, I always say, always allow yourself at least 1. Find where your happy balance is. And you'll also find in the beginning, it's 3 free meals, they might be big. And then as you continue on the journey, they might kind of start to, you might order what you want, but eat half of it. You might kind of change it. Allow the process to happen. Like I said, my journey, I could look at points over 7 years, allow it to happen. And I could still tell you where I need to go, but if I didn't start taking the little steps, I wouldn't have gone this far. So it's better than trying to do it all and then throwing in the towel and then doing nothing, right? Mm-hmm. So give yourself those little steps, make the progress. Little to no processed food. This goes right along with the 1 to 3 free meals a week. The 80-20 rule, it's great. It's another way to look at the 1 to 3 free meals per week. 80% whole foods, 20%. The 80-20 rule works with so many things, but balance it out. You can look at a day, each day like that, or you could look at your whole week like that. My one advice, and people still ignore this, is don't make the whole weekend your 20%, because the whole weekend is not 20%. Do the math there and figure that out, okay? And it sets you off into this craving, right? Because you've just had a whole week of fun. I mean, right? We wake up from a fun night and we want some, we don't want to wake up and have a nice veggie smoothie in the morning, you know, or even a veggie omelet. We want like something good and hearty. So, and then if we continue that the next day, then we're struggling the next day, you know. So what about my cravings? The first 2 to 3 weeks are going to be challenging. Let's just put it out there. It's not easy. Follow the rules we set before. Face your cravings head on. Where are they coming from? Where are they coming from? We could ignore it. We could push it to the side. We could do that. Sometimes we need to do that. We're not ready to deal with it. But when we do deal with it, and when we do face it, we might feel like, you know, we're on this journey, we take a little dip because we're dealing with it. It's okay. Deal with it. Be in that moment. It's okay, but don't linger in that moment either. There's a time where you gotta go, okay, and keep moving on. But address it. Be prepared. We leave prepared. If we enter our day unprepared, we're not gonna do it, right? We walk out the door, just, hey, whatever happens. We talked about that in the meeting, how hard. Life isn't set up for this to be easy for us. If we all start doing it, maybe we'll kind of make a movement, a little ripple effect to change that. But we have to prepare ourselves. Make the time. We talked about this. No excuses. Make the time. Natural sweetener substitutes. If you are really far down the journey, I started with my natural sweetener choice. Gosh, someone made the recommendation I would have, and I couldn't find brown rice syrup today, and I went to 3 grocery stores. If I went to Whole Foods, I would have found it. But brown rice cake with a smidge of brown rice syrup and raw cocoa nibs on top, and that was like my nighttime like treat. And it helped me kind of adopt my taste buds going from like that artificial, because that's where my head would be in bag of M&Ms instead, right? Or peanut butter cups or something. That helped kind of satisfy, but like transition. So if you need a transition, the natural sweeteners are there, right? Use them, but again, be mindful of it. But don't be afraid to transition to natural sweeteners and then kind of start to transition off. If you're on natural sweeteners already, look at how much you're taking it throughout your day, how much is there, and work on cutting it out. Write down your intention. We talked about this. Why? Write your why down and read it daily. Journal, right? 80-20 rule. It's kind of a repeat of the previous journey, but you can kick the sugar habit, okay? And we are kicking off the sugar challenge. Your last sheet explains it, and you get lots more information. If you're interested, it is, where did I lose my sheet? It will start Monday, so May 18th to June 14th. I like this challenge. It's going to be super simple, and it's $20, but $10 goes into the winning. We're all motivated by cash prizes, right? I know I am. It's like, Christmas, it was fun. I got to deliver a little envelope to someone's house of like cash, you know, after you spent all your money. I'm like, yeah. The location is what? Your home and your body. It includes, so for that 4 weeks, 2 emails a week. So one more educational, more embellishing on stuff you learned today, and one email with recipes. We'll set up a private Facebook group. Once you register, you'll get an invitation, and that's where the group itself can have a closed, it's private, secret. You can kind of share things. You get points for sharing things with each other. You will have access. I will give you my email. I will give you my cell phone number. You can text me. You can email me questions. I've had people in moments of like ready to order the blueberry cobbler or something, you know, and they're like, tell me I shouldn't do this, you know. Yeah, stop me. Or like reading a nutrition label, like you're at the grocery store. And I mean, I try to get back as soon as I can. If I don't, it's because I'm busy, but don't be afraid to do that, so you have access to do that. A list of favorable foods and unfavorable foods, so you'll have like good, better, best scenarios. List of natural sweeteners, as we talked, if you really need that transition. And the top 2 point earners win the cash prize. So we'll have a first place, second place, or we might have a tie, right, to be that. How does it work? It's a point system, because I like points because I think we're all coming from a different place, right? You set 3 goals, you get points for setting 3 goals. You achieve those goals, you get points. for every day you keep a food journal. I've changed this. I used to do per week, and I think that stresses some people out. And then I find them kind of scribbling in like half the week. Some of you guys know, because I know some of you have done this, right? Each day, like check it off. I did this day, I got a point. I messed up this day, I don't get a point. You know, and that's okay. So we're gonna do a daily this time. I won't check it daily, I will check it at the end. And you could keep your food journal on paper, or you could keep it in an app. There's lots of good apps for that. You get points for establishing a daily intention. This is the point where everybody fights me, and I say every morning, what is your daily intention? What are you waking up? It could be non-food related, right? Or it could be focused on the sugar. What is your daily intention? You're going to bed. What is your reflection? What did I do today positive? What do I need to maybe work on tomorrow? Sharing recipes via email or Facebook. So I know not everybody's on Facebook, so you could group email as long as you give permission. We could do reply all and share a recipe, or send it to me and I'll share it with the group. Exercising 3 times per week. And put a nice blanket thing on that, whatever your exercise is, if it's walking, if it's going to classes, 3 times a week. You've done it, because I like to set that as a minimum. You should be doing something 3 times a week. You get points for that. And tracking your water intake, separate from the food journal, or within the food journal, but you get points for that. So after tracking, also recommended is you're going to track how to get started, what your daily added sugar intake is now, and then you're going to try to reassess yourself. There's no points there, but it's kind of a self-assessment, right? You're retracking, and did it go down? Did we improve in that process? So you're going to retrack how many added grams of sugar you're taking. You could register tonight. I forgot my sign-up sheet, but I will make one. Or you could email me and decide. You have up until Sunday, because Monday we'll kick off the challenge. Okay? But I want to thank you guys for coming. I'm sorry I always go a little over what I plan on doing. I'm going to get better at that. But we want to share the information. And I want to thank you all for taking the time out. Any questions, please feel free to ask.
We'll throw in 2 of the Jawbone Fit trackers too. Surprise.
Awesome. Everybody know Jawbone?
We recently just got a partnership set up with them, so if anybody's interested in them, they're giving us, I'm just passing on the discounts to whoever buys them. We're not trying to make any money off of them, we're just trying to build a big community of people that are using it, so that we can kind of group that information together, that we can make some challenges together, and we can help support each other as we're all trying to walk more, be healthy, all that kind of good stuff. So if you have any questions on it, that I can get the up move and the up 2, and the up 3 will be available as soon as they take care of all the back orders that have been.
Is it like a fitness tracker? Is it like a little
It's like a Fitbit,
Okay.
except in my opinion, the Smart Coach app that goes with Jawbone is better than Fitbit. Fitbit does a great job collecting all sorts of data, but I think it just leaves you needing to kind of analyze it yourself, sort of. And in my opinion, the Jawbone reminds you that, hey, Dave, you didn't get to bed on time and you're not sleeping enough, go to bed earlier tonight or something. So I think it's pretty cool. So we're trying to kind of get everybody in the same system so that we can all kind of team up together.
And I didn't say, I'm sorry if I missed this, but it also has a food journal
Yeah,
tracking in there.
yeah, you can scan it with your phone, it'll pull up and be, that snapped really loud. Scan it with your phone, it'll pull up what you had.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks for coming, guys.
Next month we're doing raising healthy kids in a world of pizza and Pop-Tarts. We kind of touched upon a little bit about how challenging it can be, but we'll kind of dive into focusing on family. If you plan on coming to that, what I would love is if you can email me and let me know if you're coming and what the age of the children you're concerned about are. So I can kind of tell, am I gonna have a lot of teenagers here, toddlers?
And we're saying we can bring kids to
Not
that
bringing,
too,
you're
right?
not bringing, I'm saying if your focus is going to be, no, I'm not bringing kids. But I'm thinking about doing something with kids. We've kind of talked about some ideas with kids to get them involved. Yeah, in a fun way. Yes.
Kids learn better from their coach than from their parent.
Well, Ben Tonin and I talked about doing a fun, like, fuel for fitness and fitness, like a kind of, like they go back and forth between the 2 aspects.
Do you know when your next one is?
It is the second Tuesday of next month.
Getting back on the
I
shoulder.
got it right here. Here's the date right here. June 9th.
June 9th.
June 9th.
I know what my swing is. just need to know that.
But they also have yoga classes.
And that's the family.
That's the
We're gonna
pizza
wait.
box.
The boot camp. Small group.
We're all signed up in the back, Mary. We're all
You're
gonna
signed
sign
up?
up, yeah.
All right,
We need to
awesome.